Go live. Good morning. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by today, this morning or afternoon. It's afternoon for me, but maybe morning for you guys. And yeah, there was a press conference about an hour and a half ago, or a little bit more than that. I woke up to a bunch of calls and a couple calls and a bunch of messages and stuff. So they had a press conference this morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, my time. And I was sleeping because I was up late and woke up early to take the daughter to school. And then I decided to take a nap to, catch up. So, but I haven't watched it yet. So I figured we could watch it together. And I'm hearing a lot of different things, but I haven't watched it. I'm hearing it, with regards to like the landfill stuff. And I was touted here there was a significant update, but other people are saying it's not really an update or much of an update. I don't know. We're going to watch it together and see. You guys can tell me, man. Good morning. I hope you guys are doing well. And by the way, last night's live stream, we give it a little bit just for people to join. Last night's live stream is back up. It was blocked, I think, in certain countries or something like that. So if you missed the one yesterday with regards to, which one was it? Oh, the Chicago situation. If you missed this one, this is back up. So for the people, because some people in the middle while watching it, they got cut off. And so if you missed that, go definitely check it out. Sometimes you're just going to have to go through my playlist on YouTube, just because sometimes notifications don't go out, or for some people it doesn't go out, or sometimes a video gets blocked. I have to remove something to get it back up. So this one's interesting. And we also spoke about the 4 people that were missing and found and now dismembered. There was a press conference for that. That was pretty interesting and kind of crazy. And we spoke about some other crazy stories. So in this one, it has that. And then we also have the Gabby Petito videos that came out. And we listened. This was a kind of crazy stream too. The Nancy Grace, because there was a chase in that one. And that's where the Gabby Petito stuff came out. So yeah, just always make sure just to go down my feed and, check for updates and stuff.
I'm Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley, and I'm joined today by FBI Senior Supervisory Resident Agent Will Clark from the Savannah office. Chatham County Police Department and FBI entered a new phase in the search for Quinton Simon. A short time ago, we began what will be an extensive search of the waste management landfill located here in Chatham County. As with every step we have taken in this case, the need for this search was based on where the evidence led us. We have spent the last several days preparing and deploying extensive resources to support the search team and the investigators. And I would like to thank, for a moment, Chatham County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff John Wiltshire, Chatham County Emergency Management Agency, Savannah Police Department, Savannah Fire Department, Chatham Emergency Services, and many other agencies that have assisted in getting us prepared to begin our search of the landfill.
So, by the way, if you heard right there, begin our search of the landfill. This is something that we spoke about, I think last week, wasn't it? That the grandmother had sent the message that they're not going to search until Tuesday. And if you check today, last I checked, today's Tuesday. So there was, a bunch of talk and hoopla that they're already on the landfill. I think there might actually be a cop over there, but there was people saying that there was a search or something going on. A dog got a hit. I don't know if any of that stuff is true. And then there was talk that he was found, that they found him. And then there was talk that, they're already doing an autopsy and all sorts of stuff. No. Okay.
We know that this is going to be a physically, mentally, and emotionally grueling task. We know that this is going to be getting us prepared, agencies that have assisted in getting us prepared to begin our search of the landfill. We know that this is going to be a physically, mentally, and emotionally grueling task for our investigators and team. Yesterday, our team posted this picture of Quinton here on the wall of this operations center as a reminder of who we are searching for and why we continue to work so terribly hard. We want justice for Quinton just like everybody else, and we want to find his remains so we can give him a proper resting place. Once again, we are indebted to the FBI for their unmatched expertise that they have provided to us since they arrived on scene, less than 3 hours after Quinton was reported missing. Now I'll turn it over to Senior Supervisory Resident Agent Mr. Clark, who also has a few remarks.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning, everyone. My name is Will Clark. As the Chief said, I'm the Senior Supervisory Resident Agent of the Savannah and Brunswick offices of the FBI. Throughout our process here, our goal has been to bring Quinton home and to hold anyone responsible for his disappearance accountable. We, along with our law enforcement partners, go into this process with heavy hearts. We did not want to end up at this point, but the evidence has taken us here. We are not just randomly searching this landfill. We have evidence, specific evidence, that leads us to this large property. To help in this search, the FBI has brought in specialists from Quantico, Atlanta, as well as all of our personnel here in the greater Savannah area.
So it seems like they're bringing in specialists, I guess. Maybe that's why there was a delay, I guess.
The FBI's evidence response team, which has experience in landfill searches like this, is heading up part of this operation. At this moment, we have dozens of FBI personnel on scene in support of the Chatham County Police Department. We will have Chatham County and FBI personnel in the landfill each day, conducting a systematic search of the debris. This will be a complex and strenuous effort. Searchers will move through the debris placed on the search deck looking for evidence. Once that debris is cleared, it will be placed on the search deck and then removed and then replaced with another section of material. This will not be quick, it will not be easy, and the outcome is uncertain. As the Chief said, we want justice for Quinton, and we want to find him a proper resting place. Again, we share the sorrow felt by millions and promise all of our available resources and expertise to assist Chatham County in finding little Quinton.
Thank you, Will. Now we'll take a few questions.
Kind of like almost all the other pressers where there's like, I mean, I guess it's confirmation now that they are at the landfill. It's going to be a process. It seems like they had to get these specialists and get all these people together, and they're letting us know that it's a process. It's going to take time. It's not going to be easy. But I thought that, they'd say some more, but I guess that's it. All it is, I guess, is confirmation of the landfill, which, I guess, it's important because they weren't confirming that last week. They spoke on somebody, I think they were asked in the Q&A, and they just kind of really didn't confirm it. Now they're confirming it. But this is information that we had pretty much from Grandma. This is literally what the Billy Joe said, that they're not going to start searching until Tuesday. And I guess, I'm assuming, maybe they had to get their team and like gather people and specialists and stuff.
Questions, if you'd like.
What makes you think that Quinton is in this landfill?
The evidence has led us to this place at this date and time.
Is there anything specific you can tell us?
Nothing I can tell you specifically.
Chief, what day did you think you would come to this landfill? Is this something you knew last Thursday, last Wednesday, last Tuesday, or yesterday, or this morning?
Agent Clark's going to answer any questions about the landfill.
Okay.
We've been reviewing the evidence, and throughout the duration of this investigation, we've been following the evidence where it has taken us, and the evidence has taken us to this landfill. The efforts to undertake this landfill search have been several days in the planning.
It takes planning. I mean, that makes sense. It takes planning. Maybe they don't, they want to gather all the resources. It has to be organized. That landfill shit is serious. And I was talking to somebody, I don't know if it was last night or the day before. A lot of the times, maybe somebody in the chat or somebody that knows about this, they take the trash from like neighborhoods and put it in specific areas so they can at least narrow it down probably to a specific part of the landfill, but like it's still a whole lot to look through. And so this is taking, I guess, several days to plan, organize. And the way he talked about it too, I forgot, it slipped my mind now the word he used to describe that they're going to put the stuff on a shelf or something like that. They have to go look through it, and then they have to take it off and then bring on the next thing, put it on, and then they have to shift through it or whatever, or then take it off. It's going to be a whole process, man.
We brought in experts in landfill searches to guide us to the specific area where we'll be searching.
Specific area.
Like I said in my comments before, this is not, we're not searching the whole landfill. We have a specific area where we are looking.
And Agent Clark, in these landfill searches, I know the recovery or the evidence team has done this before. Is this an area that you've now gridded off? There's no more trash coming there, and it's away from anything new that would be coming in?
Yes.
And is that because of where this trash?
That's interesting too, and it makes sense. I didn't know that they'll stop the new trash from coming in. I guess they I don't know, they block off that area, that specific area.
Trash specifically came from?
Yes.
And then for the chief, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We talked to you 2:30 the Wednesday that he went missing. You were so hopeful in this, and your tone has changed. You almost sounded like you were about to choke up there. You must be emotionally drained. These investigators, these agents. Just can you talk about how hard this case has been?
Yeah, you're trying to get me to cry, I think. But it has. We had a meeting yesterday, and to look across the multitude of people that are here and to feel and see their emotions, and but that's coupled with determination and dedication so we can find little Quinton and provide him a proper resting place. It does take its toll. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort that goes into not only the investigation, but the logistics in terms of getting everything we need to be able to provide the proper resources for the search teams and the investigators so we can reach a conclusion at some point. There's a large order of magnitude that has been brought to bear here for this, and I'll say it again, I can't thank the FBI enough for all that they have done. They have been tremendous and phenomenal.
And this is obviously is a criminal investigation now. It was a missing person, and there's no way that it's not, right? No one's been charged?
No one has been charged.
Why has no one been charged?
Because we're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do. We still have an investigation to do, and we are not going to do anything preemptively that would harm future prosecution, where I'm standing before you 6 months from now talking about a flawed investigation or talking about why we did this and why we didn't do that. I believe in our investigators. I believe in the expertise that we brought to bear here. We are tracking in the right direction, but we're only going to do that when we're ready to do that.
Chief, is that because you're holding out to make this a capital?
There you go. So why there has been no arrests, which I get people frustrated, but like there's so many other cases that we could reference. Like in the first one that comes to my head, because I think somebody had called into the show before, Cody Bigsby. Look how they messed that up. I mean, yeah, he's still locked up, but like that's gonna be some serious issues when you violate somebody's rights to an attorney. I mean, that's huge. So my thing is, I just hope they're. I could imagine they have to be at least keeping some sort of eye on this woman, Leilani, whether it's some sort of surveillance, GPS tracking, I don't know. They have to be keeping track of this woman. She is the prime suspect, I believe they said. And so they just want to make sure they get everything right. Preemptively, not ready to charge anyone.
And this is obviously is a criminal investigation now. It was a missing person, and there's no way that it's not, right? No one's been charged?
No one has been charged
Why has no one been charged?
because we're not ready to charge anyone yet. We still have work to do. We still have an investigation to do, and we are not going to do anything.
And trust me, it's gonna be a whole lot better if they're actually able to find Quinton for trial. You know what I'm saying? They'll be able to get more evidence. I mean, it only makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to take her in now without having found him versus having found him and having more evidence and being able to do an autopsy and tying all the bits and pieces together. Obviously, which is fucking just, between the stories we've been covering since yesterday with that little girl and the mother that stabbed the little girl, to that girl in the suitcase, which is just crazy in itself, because Chris and Jazz had sent me some articles on that after the fact, after I ended the stream, where it's the person that took that little girl, her name was Lola, I believe. That woman did some horrendous things to that little girl and then tried to sell her organs. That's what I'm hearing now. That this woman tried to sell her organs after the fact. And so now, and then coming back to Leilani, allegedly having something to do with this, to where, I'm assuming it was her, with the allegations, she hasn't been charged yet. Not only doing whatever happened to Quinton, but then discarding the child in trash. Like, literally, I mean, it's got to be something else. You can't have remorse there when you're discarding a baby in trash like that, to be just possibly forever never found again. At that, you just want that baby to disappear and never be found again.
Preemptively, that would harm future prosecution, where I'm standing before you 6 months from now talking about a flawed investigation or talking about why we did this and why we didn't do that. I believe in our investigators. I believe in the expertise that we brought to bear here. We are tracking in the right direction, but we're only going to do that when we're ready to do that.
Chief, is that because you're holding out to make this a capital punishment case?
No.
Chief, is this landfill the only place that y'all are going to be searching?
What did you say about capital punishment?
Chief, is that because you're holding out to make this a capital punishment case?
No.
Says that because you're holding out to make it a capital punishment case. He said no.
Chief, is this landfill the only place that y'all are going to be searching?
Yes.
Okay.
You mentioned, of course, that this is going to be a large-scale, really strenuous operation. Do you guys maybe have a vague idea of how long you think it'll take, or is that just kind of up to what happens out there?
It's kind of up to what happens, but as Agent Clark said, this is not going to be quick. This is not going to happen within a day or so. We are here for the long haul until we determine that we don't need to be here anymore.
Chief, let's back up a little bit in this investigation. One thing that never happened was there was never an Amber Alert sent out. There was never a Levi's call sent out. Why was that?
It didn't meet the criteria of an Amber Alert at that time.
Why so?
I'd have to go back and look at the exact criteria, but we didn't have any specific information about an abduction. We didn't have a suspect for an abduction. We didn't have a vehicle.
Wait, that question, every time we have a story, people asking the same thing, and so that's every time. That's kind of with their response in different cases, somewhat. They didn't have any kind of information about a child being taken. By that time. That's probably why there was that 3-hour time difference, or not time difference, but 3-hour gap or so in calling 911.
Vehicle description or anything like that. And Amber Alerts are very prescriptive in terms of when you can issue them, and we didn't have that information at that time.
Chief, how tough is it to stand here right now and know that the only outcome of this is someone threw that little baby in the trash?
It's tough, but we understand that it's necessary. This is the work that we do, albeit emotionally draining, albeit tough, albeit difficult. But this is what the community asked of our law enforcement officers.
I want to clarify something, Chief. It was asking a question earlier. Do y'all believe that Quinton was brought here and thrown in the landfill, or thrown in the trash and then ended up in the landfill?
We believe that he was placed in a specific dumpster at a specific location, and it was brought here by regular means of disposal.
Ooh, But he said dumpster. Because I was thinking, just okay, obviously the child had to be discarded, and so I thrown away. It just sounds horrible saying that, right? It's just like, but that's what happened. But I was thinking she had taken him and like maybe to their trash right there in the house, but maybe she drove. Did she drive or something, and then do it in a dumpster? Were they able to get that by GPS? Weren't we talking about? Wasn't that one of the evidences they were talking about, like GPS tracking? They didn't say specifically what they found, but they said that's one of the things they were using is tracking. Is that what led them to? I don't know.
Gas station.
It was asking a question earlier. Do y'all believe that Quinton was brought here and thrown in the landfill, or thrown in the trash and then ended up in the landfill?
We believe that he was placed in a specific dumpster at a specific location, and it was brought here by regular means of the
specific dumpster. Yeah, dumpster at another location. Wow, I thought she just did it at the house, like the trash at the house. People are saying in the chat, she drove to a nearby trailer park allegedly, and they had cameras and saw her place him in the dumpster allegedly. That's rumor. Wow. Dumpster. Multiple people saying allegedly a dumpster. Oh man. Shogun did a video of the dumpster, and locals said there was a huge law enforcement presence at the specific dumpster. Wow. So I had two big dumpsters. Damn.
disposal.
Is that a dumpster at a gas station, 95?
I can't answer that.
It's Leola Cadvitt.
Of disposal.
Is that a dumpster at a gas station, 95?
He's asking if the dumpster was at a gas station.
I can't answer that.
Is Leola Cadvitt still the only suspect?
She is.
You mentioned the other day you didn't believe she was a flight risk. Has that changed?
That has not changed.
How hopeful are you that you'll find Quinton's body?
I have every belief that we will find his remains here at the landfill.
I wonder what makes him think she's not a flight risk. What exactly? What are the parameters that in general, when they say somebody's not a flight risk, do they just base it off of their financials? A lot of times too, I thought they base it off of, like, do they have family members in other states, connections? Because I remember, I think about the Maricela Botello case with Lisa and Nina, and these chicks took off across the country into another country and shit. I forgot what country they found them in. But those people had connections. I believe they had money, and they were on a bracelet, on the ankle bracelet thing. They got the bracelets off. I think those people were in on it too. The company, that company didn't report it to police. Those ankle bracelets being removed for like a week or some shit. These people were long gone.
Do y'all know where Leilani is today? And I don't mean right at this actual moment, but do y'all know where she is?
I believe she's still here in Chatham County. We do not believe she's a flight risk.
And again, I'll ask.
All right, bro. I hope they keep an eye on her. No passport? Do you think maybe they have surveillance on her 24/7? I don't know, Diamond. I would think they have something on her. I wonder if they froze all her bank accounts. I don't know if they could do that yet. If they haven't charged her, I don't know if they could just freeze her bank accounts like that. Money, family, passport.
One more time. What makes you believe that she's not a flight risk?
I can't get into that.
So they won't even get into why. Okay, that's interesting.
Okay, thank you. Y'all have a great day.
That's why I always say I always like the Q&As, especially for pressures like this where they're not giving too much information. And so I think the reporters have been asking some good questions, because in some cases I think we're getting more answers out of the Q&As than the pressers themselves. It says here, we are not randomly searching this landfill. We have specific evidence that led us to this landfill. This will not be a quick search. It will not be easy. So it seems to me like today is going to be the official beginning. I did hear that supposedly they had a cop car out there or something at the landfill. I don't know. Maybe just watching it, keeping an eye, or I don't know what they were doing. But Okay. Let me see. Okay, we got an address for the landfill. Let's take a look. Okay. Let me take a look at the landfill here. Waste management. Okay, this must be it.
Or missing mother leading federal.
All right. So I'm being told this is the landfill. Well, but by the way, which I wanted to show.
We're learning new details tonight.
The whole landfill thing, it makes me think about Layla real quick. For the people that, I don't know, they've been watching my channel for a while. You guys might remember Leola Cadvitt. Now, Layla is still missing to this day. I'm going to play 2 little short clips, and then I'm going to show you the map of allegedly the landfill that they're searching.
Tonight in the search for a missing mother, police learned of her disappearance when her son was found
They had a whole team searching out for Layla.
Wandering in Miramar in July.
The search for Leola Cadvitt brought the FBI to a Broward County landfill today. CBS 4's Peter Dench is in northern Broward County with more on the search.
Setting the scene, we are at a landfill that you may have seen near Coconut Creek as you drive north on the Florida Turnpike. Investigators say they were led here by clues and quite possibly surveillance tape. Chopper 4 captures a busy scene at the Monarch Hill landfill just east of the Florida Turnpike. More than a dozen crew members are seen digging. Several trucks with heavy equipment have been brought in as well. The FBI has set up a number of tents. This is where the search for 21-year-old Leola Cadvitt of Georgia has taken them. She was last seen in Hollywood on July 25th, the day before 2-year-old son Camden was found wandering alone outside an apartment complex in Miramar. In early August, her father and sisters came to South Florida to join in the search.
Every day that passes, be in more and more danger, and we just don't even know it. We have no answers.
Cadvitt's sister, Tiana, has always been hopeful.
Not a single part of me has lost faith. God is going to bring her home. She's perfectly fine. I know she's probably scared as ever right now, but I'm not losing hope.
Cadvitt's father told us Cadvitt would never leave Camden.
He's everything to her. Camden is her life. That's her love of her life. She is never going to leave him, ever.
Cadvitt's white Chevrolet pickup truck was seen at a racetrack station at Hollywood Boulevard at 4:41 on the afternoon of July 25th. She's also seen getting out of a Lexus and buying something inside a store. That night, she was captured on camera inside the racetrack station holding her son.
This story was a messed up, jacked up story. I'm going to get to super chats though. I saw somebody say that. I'm going to get them right after this clip. This story was a jacked up story, but I wanted to bring it up and show you guys because to show you a little bit of the land. It's a lot of work, this landfill stuff, a whole bunch of work. And specifically with this woman, a Florida story, they never found her. She's still missing. They never found her. And this guy, Shannon something, Ryan Shannon, they still haven't had a trial yet. I'm going to be covering that whenever they do. But it's a massive freaking effort.
That may have been the last time she was seen. Investigators said she came to South Florida to meet a self-proclaimed witch.
He's a witch. Yo, oh my God, this shit like takes me back through memory lane. I interviewed this guy's ex-girl, one of his exes. This guy was literally into like black magic and witchcraft. And one of his exes, I did an interview with her, it's on my channel. She was telling me one of the things that he required was like some sort of like offering to each other. And so he had drank her menstrual that legit. And she was like embarrassed to tell me. And she wouldn't tell me what she did on his end to accept his offering or whatever. It was weird shit. And then on his page, he had all this like black magic stuff and all this. I don't know.
38-year-old Shannon Ryan. Detectives so far have not connected Ryan to Cadvitt's disappearance, but he was arrested for kidnapping Camden. Ryan actually went on social media to say he was the last person to see Cadvitt alive. Investigators say Cadvitt was seen throwing trash into a dumpster, and what they found may have led them to start searching this landfill. It's not known how long the FBI will be here. By the looks of what's been set up, it could be a number of days. There's a $10,000 reward in the...
So that's that. Never found. I'll see if I can find another clip of landfill search. Let me get the super chats. I'm being told this is the address. I'm going to get yesterday's first because yesterday I cut it off. Paige, thank you so much for the super chat yesterday. Leslie, thank you yesterday. Thank goodness Nancy Grace is on the case. Love or hater, Nancy Grace will burn whoever is guilty to tiny ashes if guilty. She will bring attention to the case unlike anyone else. God bless Quinton. Leslie, thank you for the super chat yesterday. You have a chase, Mel. Yeah, we did that yesterday. Joy, thank you yesterday too. Still love your site, Mel. Much love from Tennessee. Leslie, it was such a collective with that one, way between two lanes. It was been so long. And then MH, thank you so much. And SX, back to being a member twice here and on YouTube. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. And now we're caught up to today's super chats. Rebel, thank you so much for the super chat. Can you do a stream or talk about the black woman in Kansas City that were abducted and killed? One got away. Can you email me? Kansas City. I haven't heard anything about that. Cops dismiss abducted black woman rumor before victim's basement escape. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to keep that on as a possibility. Maybe we can do a live stream on that. Thank you for that. Maribel, thank you for the super chat. Says 6-year-old Duke Flores case. Mom and aunt are in prison, but I believe child was never recovered. Oh, Duke Flores. Let me take a look real quick. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I brought up Leola Cadvitt and some of these other cases. Like, this is like a serious thing that needs to be done. And like, it doesn't mean there's going to be, they're going to find them. I hope they do so they can like put them to rest and trial and also, autopsy, evidence, everything. Oh, I never heard of Duke Flores before. Oh, geez. Wow. Just a quick little snippet. Let's see. Duke Flores. 6-year-old Duke Flores was tied, smothered, buried, dug up, then dumped. Wow. July 10, 2019, months after a 6-year-old boy with autism identified as Duke Flores went missing and presumed murdered. Disturbing testimony revealed how he was killed at the hands of his mother. Wow. During a preliminary hearing. Boy had been missing since April 14th, but no one in the household had filed a report. Sus. Duke's mother promptly was arrested the night on suspicion of murder, followed by the aunts a few days later. Damn, so they worked on it together? Jackie told Sosa that she and her twin sister were hanging clothes in the backyard on April 14th. They heard a scream in the garage and found Duke smothering Jennifer's 9-month-old daughter with a pillow. That's the story they're saying. It was at that time that Jackie recalled her sister saying, "I've got to kill him." That's when Jackie said Jennifer went outside with the boy and returned moments later, but not saying what occurred during those minutes. Jackie told Detective Sosa that Duke was positioned between them both when Jennifer placed a plastic over little Duke's head and then wrapped the power around his neck. Sosa said Jackie tied a second cord around Duke's hands. And then Jennifer strangled him. We got they caught the guy. Bro, I feel like this always happens when we're streaming. So you guys are going to have to bear with me because I legit have ADD, but I don't take any. I don't like how it makes me feel, the medication. So I don't take that stuff no more. All right. Let me finish this. We got an update for the guy, the person of interest with the murder of those 4 people in Oklahoma that were dismembered and found in a river. They caught the person of interest. But and I don't even want to read this shit. I just, between yesterday and today, I'm just so tired of reading this stuff. With these people doing this stuff to the kids. Duke's lifeless body was placed inside a blanket, then a bag, before being buried in the backyard of a home. So they buried him. 7 days later, on Easter Sunday, the mother and aunt proceeded to find a new place to hide Duke, since the family pit bulls were bothering the makeshift gravesite. Jackie and Jennifer walked the streets late Easter Sunday after unburying Duke, looking for an unblocked trash bin to get rid of the body, which was being pulled around the neighborhood in a wagon. Jennifer's 2 young children were also with the woman as they placed them in a dumpster 3 blocks south of their home. Video surveillance gathered from a house in the area showed 2 adults emerging from a house with a stroller and a wagon. Detectives said that someone used Duke's iPad to search for trash pickup times for the area. In fact, there were close to 100 searches. For many weeks, numerous homicide detectives, deputies throughout. A lot of people are planning ahead of time. They used the kid's iPad device. Maybe they thought police weren't going to check there. And they're looking specifically for pickup times so they can, get rid of somebody specifically right when the trash is coming. And how many people have said in the chat with Quinton that the day, this happened to him was trash day. And it was right after the trash came. A lot of people were saying that. For many weeks, numerous homicide detectives, deputies throughout the department, sheriff's department, volunteers, canine units, coroner, investigators, district attorney investigators, the personnel from the landfill dedicated 8 weeks to the search, hoping to find his body. Wow. The search at the Victorville landfill began on April 29th and continued until June 21st. The recovery effort ended with no remains, the department confirmed. This is not the outcome we had hoped for, but we keep going into the search that there was a chance we would not locate Duke. We knew there was a chance they wouldn't locate him. Wow. Horrible story. Let me give a quick update too, because a lot of people have been asking me about this. We might have to do a dedicated stream on this. I don't know, depending on what keeps coming out. A lot of people have been asking me about these 4 guys that were killed and dismembered. I mean, the story itself, when it first came out, you guys remember that story? It was weird. Didn't make too much sense, and the people that I talked to about that were like, "There's no way this is just obviously some sort of accident." 4 guys on a bike riding around, and all their bodies. Well, we didn't know they were dismembered at first. All their bodies are found in the river, and then we come to find out they're dismembered, and their bikes are not even there. It's just gone. Person of interest in Okmulgee murder investigation arrested in Florida. It's always Florida. Okmulgee police say the person of interest in the murder investigation of 4 men has been captured in Florida. Now, these 4 guys, if you haven't been watching this thing, it's being said that these guys were going to steal. They're on some, underhanded, I don't know, whatever you want to describe it. They were there to steal. I don't know what. I think there was a salvage yard there. I don't know if it was metals. There was one person that was supposed to be going with these 4 guys. So it was supposed to be 5 people. And one person backed out. And that one person that backed out had stated that one of them said, or all of them, I don't know, that they were going to come up on a lick, meaning they were going to come up on something they were going to steal. So imagine how this one person is feeling after backing away. You're the one person that backed away from this group that 4 of them are dead and dismembered. All right. Chief Joe Prentice and Joe Kennedy was arrested in Daytona Beach Shores, Florida yesterday in connection to a stolen vehicle out of Otsego County. The county sheriff's office said they've also issued a warrant for Kennedy's arrest in 2012 shooting event, which was crazy. We pulled it up yesterday too, because there was an incident in 2012 where people were trying to, I think, rob him or something, and he shot at, I don't know how many people they said, 6 people or something, which he's already been sentenced. The district attorney and sheriffs will begin the process of getting Kennedy back to Otsego County. Officials said Mark Chastain, 32 years old, Billy Chastain, 30 years old, and 32-year-old Mike Sparks and 29-year-old Alex Stevens disappeared late Sunday, October 9th. Police found their bodies in the Deep Fork River last Friday, October 14th. Officers said the bodies were dismembered and had bullet wounds. Bro, That's why it's something that's so important to like follow your instinct, follow your intuition, follow whatever your inside's telling you, right? A lot of times I deny sometimes what my instincts are telling me. It's a good thing this one person didn't bandwagon and just hop on with the rest of them. It could literally cost you your life. That's a crazy story. With Quinton, so I'm hearing this is the landfill. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Well, hold on a second. Let me. Okay. Trees there and stuff. Superior landfill. I wanted to see too if I could pull up another video just to show. That's a video of him talking about Layla. Still on his page. Oh, that's still on his page? All right, hold on. Hello?
Okay. I just broke up with my girlfriend, and I need to know how long I should wait before I start.
So this is, is this the same landfill? Just send me this Savannah WM landfill. Just a quick run to the dumping floor at the WM landfill in Savannah, Georgia. It's this. Okay, I'm being told it's the same one. Okay, let's check it out.
Sleeping with their friends.
Well, it depends on how long that relationship was.
Close to 2 years.
Yeah, it's never gonna.
By the way, let me get the other. Sorry, the other. I'm bad with the super chats. Psychedelic Odia. Thank you for the super chat. It says, Is it common for law enforcement to take off weekends, or is it because the cases status shift from missing? Also, my relative was CSI, and landfill searches can be literal nightmares for law enforcement. I think, again, the reason they took off the weekend, to me, it seems like they had to get out exterior resources. Like they had to get other departments, specialists, people that do this to come and help. They said it took planning too, so they couldn't just immediately go and do it. I'm thinking that's why it took all these days, you know. But they did say like they blocked off from new trash being put there, and it's like sectioned off, and they know the specific area to look, and that the baby was put in a dumpster. Sinner, thank you so much, man. I hope you're doing well. Sinner says, thank you for the super chat. We aren't all in the same boat, but the same water. We need better relationships with our neighbors. Man, the neighbor thing, honestly, I've had some weird neighbors and I've had some weird experiences. I don't know, man. I agree, but then sometimes I don't know, man, because it's like I'm that kind of person. I don't want these people knocking on my door. I don't want them asking for stuff. I have one neighbor that I'm good friends with, and that's it. But I don't most of the people around me, I don't like look around. And the previous place that I lived, I actually was friends with the person next door and the person across the street. And there's benefits to that, because when things are happening in the neighborhood, you can kind of talk to each other. You kind of keep an eye out. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe my next door neighbor, maybe he's away and his wife and kids are home. And so, you know, if something were to happen, I could call police or, you know, have the cameras. Maybe you need my video footage. There's benefits to that. But then there's also weird people, you know, weird neighbors that, like, I don't know, I wouldn't want to associate with them. But if you find decent people, because I remember at the other place I was at, the guy across the street, some kids broke into his place. And I was actually leaving. I remember I was leaving the house and I'd seen these kids just standing there, and I thought it was weird because I had never seen these kids there before. And I know the people that come in, it's like a closed off area. I know we all kind of know the vehicles that are normally in that area, unless there's a party or something like that. So I saw these kids down there. I'd never seen them before, and they were kind of acting weird. I left. I come back, and the police were there. And that's when my next door neighbor told me these kids broke in, and he had reported to the police. The guy across the street that they broke into his house, he wasn't even there. He was gone. And so the only thing with that, though, this guy, my neighbor that called the police, he got dragged into some situation he didn't want to be dragged into, because so they locked up those kids or they charged them or whatever. Now this guy that reported and called the police and witnessed it, he has to go to court or trial or something like that. Like, they were calling on him. I think they subpoenaed him. He doesn't want to be involved because these kids, now they're going to see his face. Are they going to come back for him now and make him pay back or retaliate or something like that? So he got dragged into some situation he kind of didn't want to be involved in. I don't know. So there's pros and cons. But then to your point too, which I agree, like, shit, like if there's a kid wandering in the neighborhood, yeah, people need to be proactive, which it seems like they were with Quinton. It doesn't seem like these people did anything though, like CPS. They didn't do much. But people need to be proactive and call or get involved with whatever they can do, because some people just watch and don't do anything, right? But I've had those weird neighbors, man, like, you know, peeping out the windows all day long. You know, like every time you come out. I had a neighbor in one place that I was living in an apartment complex. I never really talked to the guy much. I just kind of waved him when I'd see him. And then one day we had a little conversation. And this is when I used to work in the hospital. This is when I used to work graveyard. He's like, oh, I didn't tell him nothing. He's like, oh, you work graveyard? I was like, yeah. Like, oh, so you come home at this time? I was like, yeah. And I was kind of like, he's like, oh, do you work? He's asking me how often I work. I didn't want to tell him because I was kind of weirded out, because at that time I was with my daughter's mother. We're not together anymore, but at that time my daughter and her mother were home alone. So yeah, I don't want you fucking knowing my schedule and shit. That's kind of weird that you're noticing and monitoring my times and stuff. So I don't know. It's double-edged, I think, sometimes.
That'd be cool.
And then, okay, sorry, I went on a psychedelic Godia. Thank you for the super chat. Says, yeah, there are a couple of states that fill their landfills in a grid pattern. That's what the conversation was that I had on the person with the phone. That some states do that. I know Florida, at least South Florida, they do that. The grid pattern, the way they do the trash, to help law enforcement if they need it. Wish more would do that. Yeah, I wonder why some states don't do that.
You know, even in a couple years, you end up with one of them. You're gonna see them or run into her or whatever the case is, because they're friends, and it's gonna be weird. She's gonna think less of the chick than you. You know, which will be a problem for the chick most likely, which means you probably won't even get to hit it to begin with. It's just better to move on.
Yeah, I don't know why you want to.
Okay, yeah, and thank you. Address is confirmed. So it is this landfill that we're looking at. This person's taking us through. Little Neck, Savannah. All right, so let's check it out.
Rub it in the nose there, dude. Rub it in the face.
Well, you see, I don't really want to. I mean, she was a real sweetheart. We had a great time.
I think I can mute it too, because they're not really saying anything, so we can just kind of, yeah, I can read the chat, commentate. This is like this guy's taking us through the landfill. Gina says, knowing your neighbors are very important, but be very careful who you let into your home. That's true. That's true. I mean, the previous neighborhood that I was in, I did know a lot of the people. Maybe just, you know, some in just hi, just waving hi. Or in another instance, I know there was this woman that had a daughter and kids, and I would say, you know, just hi, whatever. But like I said, those two neighbors, the one next to me and the one across the street, it was on a more, and it was guys. And I almost, without even saying it, I think there was almost like this unspoken word that like we kind of looked out for each other. You know, if you're away and the kid's at home, the wife's at home or whatever, you know, you need to make a call or you need to report something or, hey, this will happen. You kind of look out. There really is benefits to that, because if you're dealing with normal, you know, people that aren't insane or weird and shit, you don't have to be coming knock on my door. I come knock on your door. It's just, hey, how you doing? Whatever. Everything's good. Okay, good morning, blah, blah. Going away, or this happened, blah, blah, and just keep it moving. Some people want to take that to the next level, you know? And sometimes, in some cases, the same people that come and rob you. Oh, yeah, like, come over, come with some coffee, whatever. Or it's the same person that called these other people to come rob you. It's double edged. But if you find some decent people, for sure. Because I remember 1 year too in the other place that I was living, South Florida, I forgot which hurricane it was. I don't know if it was Wilma. It was one of the ones that we didn't have power for 2 weeks, and it was bad because I think FEMA had come out and they set up some stations or camps or whatever. And in one of the mall plazas I'd gone, and I got in all this ice because they were giving out ice because we didn't have power. They were giving out little things of food too. I just took it because why not, right? And when I went back, my neighbor that was on the opposite side of me, one that I didn't really even talk to, there was one there that was a decent guy too, but he moved out. But I went and I brought him ice. And he has kids and stuff like that too. And he was like, oh man, I really appreciate that. Just that little gesture of kindness, that guy just respected me so much. He was super thankful, and he's kind of like would look out to, if anything weird in the neighborhood and stuff like that, and I would just say hi to him. Just little small gestures like that without being invasive. Some people are kind of like invasive, you know what I'm saying? But I remember that thing led to like a nice little neighborly friendship, Sarah says, I had an older couple that lived next door. They would tell me who stopped by while I was gone. I was okay with it. Okay. You know what I'm saying? You want to keep an eye, maybe want to see what your boyfriend or husband's doing. I'm just kidding. Shelly, thank you so much for the super chat. I agree about neighbors. Having great neighbors with Hurricane Ian, blessed. Yeah, it really can be a good thing if you have decent people that are not nutty. I had one nutty guy that would, in a different apartment complex, this guy would bang on the walls. And one time, this guy slipped me a note of the name of my dog at the time, because with the ex, I had a dog. He slipped the name under the door. But when I knocked on his door, he would never open. And he looked like kind of like one of these creepy kids. He looked like a school shooter. But I went and knocked on the door to try to confront him because he was being weird. Nothing.
Like C or D listers, and try to bust their balls. It's just a guy like leaving the package store, with a...
Not really anything to listen to. But it's kind of a nice, be able to get a visual on this. I had that. The other thing too, the other day I was asking people, would you accept food from your neighbor? If you just moved into a new place, would you accept food from a neighbor? There was one place that years and years and years ago, the place was a little sketch, but it was a really cheap apartment. I moved in and there was this lady that kept peeping out of her windows, like the blinders and stuff. And she was like looking kind of nosy. She was a little bit elderly. So, sometimes if they're collecting Social Security, maybe they're not actually going to a job. And so they're, maybe the highlight of the day is just kind of looking out, seeing what's going on in the neighborhood. And I remember I moved in, one of my exes, and she brought over like this homemade plate of spaghetti. And I looked at it, and while it was a nice gesture, I threw that shit away. What do you guys want to poll about? The neighbors or the food thing? Yo, did somebody say Jeffrey Dahmer? More of a reason not to accept a plate. Let me put that. Let me put that in. That's true too, Melissa. You might have cat or dog here in there. Well, I've heard of people too that believe in that Santeria shit or that black magic stuff. Some of them, they put stuff in your food. I'm paranoid like that. Maybe it's because watching all these stories and all this true crime stuff and all these horrible things that happen. Honestly, I don't even know maybe even if I've known the neighbor, I probably still wouldn't accept it, to be honest with you. I don't know. Unless I'm really close with them. Would you accept food from neighbor? And in this case, new neighbor. I've heard of people putting blood. I've heard, with the with the Maricela Botello case, the woman that went missing she flew from Seattle to Texas. She goes to Texas, meets some guy at a bar or club or something, goes back to his place. This guy staying with these two women, these psychopaths, and they're in a throuple relationship. They're all sleeping together. The two elderly women and this young guy, and this young guy brings home a woman, and we don't know exactly what happened in the house, but he claims that he had fallen asleep with this girl, Maricela. A psychopath wakes up and she's holding a knife to the girl's neck. He gets up and runs out. That's his story. And he goes on a run for like months or whatever it was. This woman ends up dead, Maricela. And they have GPS of these women's locations going down to where Maricela was found so they could tie it to these women. And there was blood all over the house and all this shit. And these are the women that I was telling you earlier ran away. Oh, they're not a flight risk. Put a ankle brace and everything. They were in Cambodia. Deep Elm, right? Deep Elm. I had spoken to a friend of Charles Beltran, the guy that was staying with these two women, the guy that went on the run. This guy told me that he would visit them at that house. And he told me, like multiple other people have told me, they were into some weird black magic Santeria shit. And so he had told me that he had heard, and he was telling me, like, you got to be careful with the food that you eat from these people, like pasta with the red sauce. Because sometimes people, they'll mix in blood, or on some weird shit, they'll put in blood. And I don't know what they're doing. They think they have something on you or control of you or putting something in you, and you don't even know you're consuming something these people mixed and put together. Damn, there's people saying they would accept. 43% said would accept food from neighbor. And the whole thing with food, that really is the neighborly thing to do, ain't it? Like, if you guys, for the people that watch The Watcher, right? Those weirdo neighbors, but they were kind of, well, maybe they weren't that weird with the ending. They were weird. They're still weird. But they brought over pie. Hey, I got pie. I had pie. There's pie for you. I would not be taking pie from those neighbors. You don't know what? I mean, yo, you guys haven't seen, wasn't there the story of that woman, the teacher, that, didn't she bring in cupcakes to school for the kids? Who remembers what was in those cupcakes? What was in those cupcakes? Somebody in the chat say it. Say it without saying it. No, you say it. What was this woman bringing to the school in those cupcakes? Hell no, I'm not accepting food. The hell? In those cupcakes, she had her husband's man juice in there, if you know what I mean. I don't know what they were. Yeah. Yo, no, Jenna said cupcakes. I'm not, bro, I don't know, man. I don't accept, unless it's like my family member or something. I don't accept, I just don't, man. Like, or unless I really know the person or a close friend, and even then you're taking a chance. I mean, you're really taking a chance at restaurants too. But yeah, I just normally, you guys never heard of that story? I go, once you start reading all this stuff, what these sick people do, you start being like more mindful about what you take. I wonder, I don't even know how they got caught though. Yeah.
Elsewhere, we're in pretty good shape. Your radar hotspot, Johnny Mercer. This Traffic One update is brought to you by Custom Audio Video, your technology spec.
I see the people that would accept food has changed a little bit. It's slightly changed from 40 to 43%. That 43% say yes, they would. Yeah, man. Let's take a look. Let me see if there's any other updates. How did they find out about the cupcakes? That's let me see if I could. I don't even know. Should I look this up? I don't know how they found out. I thought it was okay. Here's a story. It's even on WFLA. I mean, this stuff is like, yeah, it's disgusting. But it's like, it's the reality. Like, this is the shit that's really happening out there. And it's Florida. Why Florida? Oh, no. Wait, is it Florida? It says Tampa, Florida. Maybe that's just where WFLA is. A Louisiana school teacher who admitted to lacing cupcakes with her ex-husband's sperm and feeding them to school children now faces nearly 40 years in prison. In 2019, Louisiana Sheriff's Lieutenant Dennis Perkins and his wife Cynthia Perkins were arrested and charged with creating, oh God, you can see it right there. A report from the advocate of Cynthia Perkins, who had worked as a school teacher at the first time for Westside Junior High School, junior high school in Walker, Louisiana. She admitted to the crimes and pled guilty. She not only waived her right to an appeal, but an attempt to avoid conviction. Wow, the time really flew by in the stream. But she also spared the victims from reliving her horrific crimes during this particular trial. Also, she waived the right to an appeal and attempt to avoid conviction. So she didn't make it drag everybody through it. That's good, at least. Per the agreement, Cynthia admitted to helping her ex-husband. Wow, I didn't know they did all this. I just thought it was the cupcakes, but it's more horrible stuff. Cynthia allegedly filed divorce after the couple was arrested and charged. Cynthia's attorneys said she was manipulated by her ex-husband into committed child crimes. Her attorneys called Dennis the mastermind behind the couple's criminal activity. I still don't know how she got caught. And I honestly didn't know that those people did all that other horrendous stuff. It says Cynthia Perkins confessed. According to reports, Cynthia Perkins baked up some cakes for her class at Westside Junior High School in Walker, Louisiana, and added one disgusting throw up in your mouth just reading its secret ingredient. It says she confessed to it. You guys want to before we head out, we can also look at this, the woman that were allegedly kidnapped. Take a little snippet. Let me see where that super chat was at. He was a cop? Kelly said the guy was a cop. They videoed it. That's true. Accept food, but maybe not eat it. People are just crazy these days, man. Like, I don't know. Stacy B says, thanks for helping me stick to my diet, Mel. I'll never eat again. Let me see. This person said, okay, the black woman in Kansas City. Let's just take a look at that before we head out. And then also, if there's any other updates on Quinton, I don't think there is, but okay. And by the way, the video we watched, the guy here said, the landfill video says, truth be told, this video is 10 years old now, but pretty much all landfills operate the same. Scale in, go to tipping face, dump, scale out. RC Bandit. So he commented 5 days ago. Benny. All right, this woman in Kansas City. This is kind of messed up. Is this another case where ooh, let's take a look at this. What? There's another woman. Yo, you guys remember the how do you say it? Excelsior Springs? Remember that the woman that was being held against her will and all these horrible things being done to her by this psycho Timothy. She had said she heard other people that there was other people there. KCPD said missing black woman reports in case were completely unfounded. Less than a month later, one escaped after being kidnapped from Prospect and tortured in a basement for over a month. The bombshell revelations and horrific tragic events explicitly disprove KCPD's earlier statement that there are no missing black women from this area and that the potential KC serial killer is completely unfounded. The woman also told investigators her friends didn't make it out and had been murdered by the man. This is a couple days ago. A bombshell multi-county investigation began last Friday when a 22-year-old black woman escaped bondage after being kidnapped, assaulted, and held captive in the basement of Excelsior Springs, Missouri man's home. The man is identified as Timothy Hazlitt. The woman was discovered around 8 a.m. last Friday, October 7th, when reports of a woman banging on doors and crying for help reportedly reached the police. Sarah Thorpe told the Excelsior Citizen that her grandmother provided the woman food and a blanket after bringing her inside Thorpe's home. Kansas City Defender has been working collaboratively with Excelsior Citizen, a local news outlet, on the story. The victim, identified by the alias TJ in court records, told both Tarp and the police that her friends did not make it and had been murdered by Hazlitt. She made the comment about her friends that they didn't make it and that he killed them, Tharp said. I'm really hoping they find evidence about her friends. If anything, she can have closure about her friends. I just hope they can find everything they need to. According to the Clay County prosecutor, probable cause statement reported that Timothy had kept her in a small room in the basement that he had built. He kept her restrained in handcuffs on her wrists and ankles. In addition, Hazlitt whipped her while she was restrained. There were injuries on her back that were consistent with this description. Court documents further say she was able to get free when he left to take his child to school. Imagine that shit. So this guy's just going on his normal daily routine. He has a kid in there. He's taking care of the kid, feeding him and doing all sorts of stuff. While you're torturing and holding somebody captive, hold on, pause, let me go take my kid to school. The official court document also reads, upon the police officers' arrival at the residence, they found TJ. She was wearing latex lingerie and had a metal collar around her neck with a padlock and duct tape around her neck. TJ advised that a man by the name of Timothy picked her up on Prospect in Kansas City at the beginning of September 2022. In mid-late to late September, the Kansas City Defender published a video of Bishop Tony Cadwell, a local Kansas City community leader, who was one of the many in Black Kansas City community who made reports of numerous murdered and missing Black women. In the video, Bishop Cadwell specifically identified that the women who were missing were being taken from the area on Prospect Avenue in Kansas City. We'll take a look. Can we watch this now?
I am a little upset right now. The reason I'm upset is because we got 4 young ladies that have been murdered within the last week here off of 85th and Prospect. We got a serial killer again, and ain't nobody saying nothing. The media's not covering it. We got 3 young ladies that are missing. Ain't nobody saying a word. What is the problem? Why can't we get some cooperation? Where's our community leaders? Where's our activists? Where's our public officials? Where's our police department? Where is those folks at? In President Gardens. Come on now. We need to start knocking doors. We need to start making sure.
So they're not saying, I think I'm getting lost in the words. They're not saying there was another person found, but what they're saying, so I'm looking at the Kansas City Defender. KCPD claimed missing Black woman reports in KC were completely unfounded. Then less than a month later, a Black woman escapes after being kidnapped and tortured in a basement. Police are now actively investigating for additional victims. So I thought that these people, the police, were saying that they still don't have evidence, because people were saying that this woman had said that there was somebody else there, that she heard voices or something like that, that she heard voices and that her friends didn't make it out. What reason would this woman have to make that up? Why would somebody say their friends didn't make it out? And if it comes out that there's other people there, and the serial killer on the loose, it turns out there's other people there, the cops are going to look stupid as hell. The Kansas City Police Department made a statement addressing the community testimonies and called them completely unfounded rumors. I mean, I guess it does look bad now, right? Dismissing the concerns. Local news outlets followed suit, in essence silencing any ongoing community voices which maintained concern of the missing Black woman. Completely unfounded rumor about serial killer in Kansas City is untrue, police say. So shit. Maybe they got a reason to say there's nothing else because now it looks bad. The former FBI says the number of serial killers increase every year. Really? Let's see what else this says. Kansas City police shuts down rumors of serial killer targeting black women. Yeah, that's crazy. So they shut it down. It's not true, blah, blah, blah. And then a woman literally escapes out of a basement. Literally on some like movie type of thing or like something that you've heard years and years ago, people being held. I mean, it happens all the time, but Kansas City serial killer rumor is completely unfounded. While the investigation remains early and more details will follow, there are now 3 major confirmed facts which clearly dispute KCPD's earlier statements. A black woman was kidnapped, indeed. She was picked up on Prospect Avenue in early September during the exact time frame that community members began expressing concerns of numerous missing and murdered black women in the exact same area. So this is, I guess, where the frustration is coming from the local community. They've literally specifically said this area, Prospect Avenue. And police say, no, it's not true. It's unfounded. And then literally a woman that was picked up in the same area these people have been talking about all this time was being held in a basement. She said her friends did not make it out and were killed by Timothy. I just can't imagine why somebody would just make that up. We spoke with Bishop Tony Cadwell, who made a now viral video and was first to publicly make the reports. He told the defender, this was a description of the guy we were talking about, and that was the location we said they were being taken from. That's exactly what we were telling people. I'm just sorry that it took so long, but I'm grateful that she found a way out. I'm sorry people didn't act on it sooner, and it's absolutely tragic that other young ladies didn't make it. It's horrible. At first, the police said there were no evidence of a serial killer or any young ladies missing. I could see them saying we can't comment on an ongoing investigation and leave it at that, but for them to say conclusively it's not happening, to completely shut out our concerns down, that's just wrong. We get a lot of information because we're right on the street level. A lot of times we're even trying to give the police information so they can act on it because the people in the street don't trust them, and we can see how that's rightfully so. The families are heartbroken, and now they're even more mad because something could have been done back then. There's a possibility their loved ones could have been saved if folks would have acted back when our community was first making these reports instead of waiting for the young lady to escape. If she didn't escape, we would have never known, truly, we would have never known this was happening. We asked if Bishop Cadwell, if he can tell us a bit about his background and how he built trust in the community. Adjusted. So this is just kind of the background for Cadwell. The defender reached out to Kansas City Police Department for comment on our recent revelations, and if newfound evidence changed their previous claim, the community reports were completely unfounded, and there's no evidence to support the claim. Please read our correspondence below. Do you all, KCPD, still maintain the definitive conclusion that reports of additional missing women are completely unfounded? I gotta head out of here. And that there's no evidence to support such reports? We can understand if you all arrived at that conclusion. There is no evidence if you all have not uncovered any such evidence yourselves, but your statement that such reports are completely unfounded is the particular phrase we would like to know if you all maintain is true. Our question is targeted at you all's assumption that because your missing persons unit did not receive any reports of missing people, that such community reports are completely unfounded and that there is no evidence to support such claims. It appears that this case disproves the idea that such an assumption can be automatically deduced. And so their response, Kansas City Police Department, we base our investigations on police incident reports of criminal activity. We do still maintain there's no indication that what you guys reported was accurate, and there's no indication that there was anything that supported that claim. We share what information we can publicly many times from the scene of incidents of violent crimes when there is a report or an investigation underway. There had and has not been anything that corresponds to your reports on social media and the web which is why we refuted that report and said the claims were unfounded. The department's statement more or less states that if they do not have a missing persons report in their database on someone, that there is zero possibility that the person might be missing, or that at the very least that they have no interest in helping find them. Their statement that we based our investigations on police incident reports of criminal activity makes clear that community concerns and testimonies means nothing to them even after such concerns are proven true, if they are not formally filed and accepted by the department's missing persons unit. Can we listen to this? How long is this? 7 minutes? I don't think I have 7 minutes.
Since then?
None. Zero.
I wondered, what is your communication been with police since then?
None. Zero. Zilch. They are backtracking as much as they can now. I have a few friends at the police department that are reaching out, telling me, good job, don't give up, I have a couple of friends that told me to make the comparison in certain areas and to look at certain things. Prospect being the key point. The young lady was snatched off of Prospect. We were talking about people that were snatched off of Prospect. At the same time point that this young lady was taken off of Prospect was the same time point we were looking for those young ladies, and she being one of them on Prospect that was taken from that area. So that was the easiest comparison that they told me to just keep following up on. No matter what anybody says, follow up in that area. They can't dispute that, no matter what. They tried to, so far, saying that there was never no missing women. It was all a hoax.
And they're still saying, because I pulled up a new article, this was from yesterday, police are still saying it's not linked. Police evidence in Excelsior Springs case not linked to reported missing persons.
Investigate the case of Timothy Haslett. Earlier this month, a woman told officers she escaped his home after being held in Haslett's basement. Acting reporter Sarah Plake has been staying on top of this story. Sarah joins us with the latest.
Well, Kevin, the Excelsior Springs Police Department tell us that the victim was not on any missing persons reports or any of those lists in the Kansas City area. It's unclear if anyone has ever tried to report her missing. And part of the investigation started with trying to find out if there were other victims. And today, police said they checked with Kansas City law enforcement to see if there were any connections and said there are no current missing persons reports that correspond with the evidence examined so far in this investigation. We also learned they activated the Clay County Investigative Squad Task Force, a group of agencies all working together on this. And you'll remember the day the news broke about this case, the Clay County Sheriff's Office addressed concerns that there were dead bodies found at the house and said they have no evidence of that at this time. This is all developing and you can get all your updates right here. I'm Sarah Plake, KSHB 41 News.
No one died. No one's missing. No one's being taken off a Prospect. But again, that's the same thing that happened with Terry Blair. The exact same thing that happened with Terry Blair. And we ended up working that case by accident. We was doing a neighborhood cleanup and ran across the first body doing a neighborhood cleanup. And it just kept going as we were doing more cleanups within the community. I found out there was more young ladies there and more missing. But again, they kept saying these are isolated incidents as this is going on. But we knew even in Blair's case that it's not isolated. Burdella here in Kansas City.
Sure. Yeah.
How he got away with it too.
Right.
They kept saying isolated incidents. Here's a man selling body parts in the store.
Right.
In Westport.
I haven't heard of that story.
But
it just in front of you, even. But you're pointing it out, and they're telling you no.
Yeah, it becomes a troublesome thing, when you, I guess, when you're the black sheep of the town, because you do have a big mouth and you won't shut up, because things need to be brought to light, things need to be exposed, those hard conversations need to happen. I'm fearful for my grandkids. That's why I do what I do. It's for my grandkids, for the next generation coming up. Because if I'm going to live here in Kansas City, there's going to come a day that I can't walk, I'm old, I'm tired, and I need somebody to look out for me. And if I don't give them the tools too, then I'm really hurting myself.
It's an interesting way to look at it. Yeah. Okay, so.
So he said something interesting. He said snatched.
Yes. Yes.
Can you describe that for me?
We have the tendency in the community, law enforcement, the community, looking at the difference between, and I'm not saying this by a long shot, but we look at young ladies that work the streets at night, getting in the cars. They usually say, well, that's something they knew what they were getting into. But these are some young ladies that have been taken, literally, that do not work that industry, that are just out partying, having a good time, and are snatched off the streets by these individuals. It doesn't matter if they are working that industry or not. This is not something that they agreed upon. This is not something that someone wants. They still need to be treated with dignity and respect. They are human. They have rights. No is no. It doesn't matter. I said this and I will say this until I have every breath out of my body. I don't care if you're married to someone and the wife says no, she has the right to say no. So if somebody is boyfriend, girlfriend, and they're using that a lot too now, as well as domestic, they agreed upon this. No one ever agrees to be locked in a basement, a metal dog collar. And I'm picturing this in my mind because I think about the slave collars around this young lady's neck with a padlock that no one's looking for because they're saying it's not happening. If she would have never got away, we wouldn't be here today. They would have just said, no, it doesn't exist. She doesn't exist. Knowing that she was snatched, taken off of Prospect, taken to Excelsior Springs. How many more? How many more? She made the statement, her friends did not make it. That lets you know that there was more than her. But they're going to overlook that. Because right now they can't have that type of publicity in our city with football season, tourism, the World Cup. It's not good for the homeless. They're sweeping the homeless out. If you notice, drive around Kansas City.
Yeah.
Where they used to be,
The camps are gone.
they didn't send the city in, just took all their possessions, took everything, bulldozed down the camps, and they're gone. Winter's coming. Where are these people going to go? How are they going to survive? That's kind of how I feel like they treated these young ladies, these young men. It's more than young ladies being snatched. I want you to understand that. We have some young men that are missing. But that's a whole different story. They're not going to talk about that at all. We have to do better. We have to do better.
Okay, I put the link to that video in the description if anybody wants to see that. That was a good video. But the thing with that too, I have very, very little time left. I got to run out. But, well, let me just real quick with this. I was sent this Quinton. Here's the search for Quinton. Those are FBI agents in white trained specifically for searches like this. The line of trash is searched and then another load is brought in. Oh, that's what they were talking about in the presser. It's great to have that visual. So they're bringing out, they're bringing out the thing by bulldoze. They got a whole system set up. There's like a line of people, and then they have to shift or siphon through the trash. It's tedious. It's tedious. And they're in like full bodysuits, it looks like, because they have to be. Lord knows all the stuff that they're going through and having to, to find this baby. The line of trash is searched and then another load is brought in. This is likely to go on for days. Sadly, these agents are more looking for remains than a body. And that doesn't sound good at all. Looking for remains than a body. that means, you know what it means. So I don't know, man. Let me move myself out of the way here. With this Excelsior thing, though, the thing is too, because I sometimes see people do this online, and they'll look up all the missing people in a certain area. I'm not dismissing these people at all, the local people, because they know more. But I'm saying in general, I've seen this happen where people just look up all these missing people in one area, and they're like, oh, it's tied to one person. And we don't know that. It could be multiple people. It could just be random missing people, but they're saying it's not because it's from that same street. Or who knows? Maybe there's another killer out there that actually has been doing all this stuff. Or maybe it's this guy, who knows, and he's gotten rid of other people, and this is just the latest person that he has, and he doesn't do any kind of disposing in his house, and so there will be no evidence there of disposing. Maybe he does something else. Maybe he gets rid of them somewhere else. You know, or maybe that guy's in the network. Maybe that guy's in a network, and him and his buddies, they're all they got family, they got wives, and they got kids and shit, and all of them take one person and they put him in a basement and lock him up and stuff, and this is the routine. I don't think this guy had a wife, though. I'm not sure. It's kind of weird to be thinking these people carrying on in a normal life while having somebody captured in your basement. Oh, let me just take my kid to school. Crazy. Anyway, I got to head out of here, man. Thank you guys so much for joining me today on this stream. I really appreciate it. It was interesting talking and covering all the different things that we covered. I'll probably come back later. I didn't even think I was going to get a notification for this stream. I'm surprised because after all the stuff last night. Also, thank you so much for Lex Lux. Thank you for becoming a member. Cheeky Cheeks, the 12-month membership. 12 months. KC case reminds me of the LA Sleeper. Grim Sleeper, right? Cops didn't believe the hood telling them, so the hood started looking out for the sex workers in the area. Yeah, that's the Grim Sleeper. Lonnie, let me look him up. As I say, I got to go. Grim Sleeper. Grim Sleeper. Preyed on people in the streets. Nobody was listening. The Grim Sleeper. Lonnie David Franklin. Down the Rabbit Hole News. Thank you so much for the membership. You guys make sure you check out her channel too. I actually like her content, and I tune in sometimes on her live streams. Down the Rabbit Hole. Just pull it up real quick. I'll plug in her channel too. It's a good channel to check out. And she covers a bunch of different stories, cases, and sometimes calling out people as well. Good channel. Down the Whole Rabbit News. I'll put her link in the description. Yeah, okay, and that's it. I think we got everything. Save it. Okay, yeah. Thank you guys so much. I'll probably be back later. We'll see. There's so many stories. There's so much crap going on. I'm not even sure what to cover. You know, we got the 4 men dismembered found. We got the Chicago woman that dismembered her landlord, which I think we're kind of done with that for now. And there was something else. I can't even think of it. Obviously, Quinton. I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Take care. Hit like on the way out. Peace. Adios. And the suitcase thing, too. The woman and the girl in the suitcase.